Hi guys, we'll be discussing a topic in this video. It will be Resident Evil games. Yeah, I know it's something new on this channel, but I'm just a fan of them. So it's gonna be something new. Okay, so let me go here. Let's just start off with the first one. Resident Evil 1. So, in this game, we play as 30 characters. So in this game we play as Carissa Redfield, Joe Valentine, and Betty Burton. Rebecca Chambers is in this game too. Albert Wesker, he's one of the main characters, and we'll see the others a bit later. So, let's talk about Chris Redfield. After being kicked out of the Air Force, Chris became a drifter until he met Barry Burton. Barry recruited him from the newly formed STARS, and now Chris has been assigned to a smaller unit at the Raccoon City headquarters. So his date of birth is 1973, and his height is 185 centimeters. Yeah. Now let's talk about Joe Valentine. An intelligent soldier that has rescued many STARS members from danger in the past. Joe has been reassigned to Raccoon City just like Chris. She is excellent with special mechanical devices such as lockpicks. She is one of the playable characters. Uh, um, Her date of birth is 1974. Yeah, she's what? Chris is 1 year older than her, and and her height is only 166 centimeters. Okay. Next is Barry Bolton. Chris Redfield's old friend and partner, a former SWAT team member. Barry maintains and supplies weapons for all STARS members. He has over 16 years of experience and has led many successful projects. His date of birth is 1960, so he's a bit older than the other ones. His height is 186 centimeters. Pretty high. The highest we've seen right now. Okay, next is Rebecca Chambers, who is also a part of Resident Evil Zero. The youngest member of the group, Rebecca has been recruited for her knowledge of field medicine and first aid. She is nervous around other members, both because of her age and her lack of experience. Yes, because she's kind of new to STARS. Her date of birth is 1980, so she's pretty young. And her height is 161 centimeters. Next is our dear friend Albert Wesker. Wesker has risen quickly inside the STARS organization and currently leads the Alpha team. Viewed by many as a cool guy, from his snappy haircut to his perpetual shades, Wesker Wesker was recruited by a headhunter for his sharp eyesight and eventually founded the STARS unit in Raccoon City. His date of birth is 1960, and when we compare that to some of the characters here, he is pretty much as old as Barry Bolton. In his height, he is really tall, 190 centimeters. Oh my! When you think about it. Okay, Joseph Frost. Joseph Frost was a member of the Special Tactics and Rescue Service Alpha Team, a law enforcement unit serving in Raccoon City, alongside the Raccoon Police Department. Frost was known for his trademark red bandana and his hot-blooded nature, which ran in tandem with his generally cheerful personality. His date of birth is 1971 and his height is 179 centimeters. Forrest Forrest Speyer. Forrest is a great sniper in addition to his duties as Bravo's vehicle specialist. He is a consummate professional, and his work earns him great respect for his other members. Forrest does not have a role in this game. You simply see him during the opening scenes. His date of birth is 1969, and his height is 183 centimeters. Pretty tall. Kenneth J. Sullivan. A quiet but very talented field scouting officer, Kenneth formerly worked as a chemist. He wonders why his chemical experience is necessary in Raccoon City, but quickly discounts this since Wesker himself enlisted him in STARS. His date of birth is 1953. He's pretty old. I think the oldest we've seen yet. And his height is 188 centimeters. Richard Aiken, a very important member of STARS, serving as Bravo's communication expert, the only link back to headquarters for teams out in the field. Richard actually has to pull double duty as a radio man for both units since Alpha Team really has no trained operator. And last but not least, Enrico Marini, Bravo team's leader and Wesker's second in command for the STARS unit. Enrico feels threatened by the arrival of the Alpha team, thinking that Chris or Barry may end up replacing him as a number one to Wesker. His date of birth is 1957 and his height is 190 centimeters, really tall. Oh, and I forgot to tell you about Richard Aiken. His date of birth is 1975 and his height is 172, pretty short. That's about it for the Resident Evil 1 main characters. So now let's go into the bioweapons. Zombie. The zombie is the most common enemy in the game. The poor residents of the mansion who became infected with the T virus and left to rot in the dusty hallways. From the many different diaries and journals found, it is clear that they suffer greatly before the virus takes their life and finally their soul. Next is Cerberus. Cerberus, essentially a Doberman infected with the T virus, is a fairly common enemy in the game. Despite the rotting skin and muscle hanging off their bones, they are still surprisingly quick. The virus giving these creatures an insanely lust for blood. They'll die. They'll die for your arm the first chance they get. Next is Crow. Larger and more aggressive than normal. These birds will sit patiently unless they consider you a threat. It seems these crows feasted on a corpse infected with the virus. Crimson Head. Crimson Heads were the result of unforeseen effects of the E-train on of the mu-train on the human body. The train developed for the Tyrant project was released in the Arclay laboratory during a lab incident. As the facility uh, as the facility staff had no experience with Crimson Heads aside from the brief violent encounter with Crimson Head Prototype 1, they were at a disadvantage, and a formal policy became to destroy the bodies of zombies to prevent further mutation. Web Spinner. The Web Spinner was a series of spider-based bioorganic weapons developed by Umbrella USA. Though they had functional spinning glands, despite their name, they rarely made webs with their silk. The web spinner was intended to be deployed to war zones and use its venom to injure combatants before eating them. The limited intelligence and less than hoped strength increase made the series non-viable and it was largely discontinued. Hunter A. Hunters are a group of human-animal hybrids which were genetically engineered as biological weapons. Hunter species were created through the grafting of reptilian donor DNA to a fertilized human embryo with the aid of the T virus as a bonding agent, with the exception of the Hunter Y, which reversed the process with human DNA grafted into the genome of fertilized uh, uh, amphibian spawn. The Hunters were one of Umbrella's most successful products and among their oldest, having entered production with the Hunter A in the 1980s. Following Umbrella's demise, other bioweapon manufacturers used the research data to create new hunter species with far low among the latest iterations. Uh, okay. Chimera. Umbrella began using their newly developed T virus strains on animals soon after their founding. However, they were met with problems with their practicality, such as a lack of intelligence and insufficient strength increases, which eliminated the web spinner as a reliable weapon. In its place, the Chimera project was started, which intended to graft insect DNA into human embryos. Uh, Homeless women were abducted by umbrella agents and forcibly impregnated with the modified embryos. Out of various insect-human hybrids that were envisioned as bioweapons, it was a fly-human hybrid that was chosen for continued study. It was subjectively cloned to produce identical bioweapons. Lisa Trevor. Lisa Trevor was an American woman who was abducted by Umbrella to lose to serve as a test subject in a series of unethical and illegal viral weapons experiments using progenitor virus at the Arclay laboratory. She was important in the development of the thyroid virus, once that Lisa was the first model human to survive the infection, as well as the patient zero infected with the Golgotha virus. Twisted and deformed by 3 decades of abuse, Lisa became a danger to the staff of the Arclay laboratory, and they arranged for her murder. When no longer deemed useful, though she was able to cheat death for another 3 years until she was killed in the explosion that destroyed the laboratory. Next is Yarn. The Yarn was an experimental bioweapon test subject created at the Arclay laboratory. It was nicknamed Yarn in reference to the way its mouth opens before attacking, which resembled a yawn. Neptune. Neptune developed development code FI 03 was a subspecies of great white shark developed by Umbrella's weaponry. They were named after the Roman god of the seas, referencing the white shark's reputation as the king of the seas. Plat 42. Plat 42 was created by Henry Salton, who injected a plant living in point 42 with the T virus of curiosity. Plat 42 proved to be completely unique and comparable to any other plant-based test subjects. Its roots buried deep through the wood and concrete in the residents and began feeding on the chemical-rich water of the aqua ring, likely promoting further growth. Expanding its vines across the building, it used cracks in the flooring to attack passing staff members, feeding on their blood. Okay. Black Tiger. The Black Tiger was a web spinner that had undergone excessive mutation, increasing its size 3 to 6 times that of normal web spinners due to prolonged infection of the T virus. Also, unlike the ironically named web spinner, it was actually capable of producing a web. This tyrant, code named T-002, was part of the Arclay Laboratories' quest to develop the ultimate life form. The T-002 and its associated tyrant project was at the time top secret. T-002 was found to have intelligence almost at the same level as its human pre-infected form, which would have allowed it to follow a wide variety of commands beyond that of the hunter models had its life not been drastically cut short. So these were these were all the characters and enemies in Resident Evil 1. So bye guys.